Hello everybody, welcome to Flying Friday. We are here in our F-14 Tomcat in Grim Reaper's livery, technically, apparently. Whatever. Advanced demo or something like that. What are we doing? Well, first off, we're gonna close our cockpit door. Nice. Alright, so let's, 3, I think. There it is. Alright, so what are we doing? Let me start the engines. What we're doing is, about 90 years ago, a group of military pilots flew a unique mission around the world. Yes, around the world. Flying in the Douglas World Cruiser, they completed the first circumnavigation of the Earth. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use the F-14 Tomcat. Couple reasons. One, I couldn't find a Douglas World Cruiser anywhere. That was a biplane, both float and wheeled aircraft. Couldn't find it anywhere. Second, when I thought about it, and thought about doing this, I was originally considering, I'll just fly something like the Grumman Tracker, who has a speed that is about commensurate with, well, faster than the World Cruiser, but still slow. And then I tried it. I decided, we're just not going to do that. There's way too long. Way too long of a flight. So, I decided, well, take the F-14 Tomcat. And there's actually a couple of reasons to do that. In her fully capable configuration, the Douglas World Cruiser had about a 1,683 nautical mile range. In ferry configuration, the F-14 Tomcat has a 1,600 nautical mile range. So I'm only down 83 nautical miles. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Also, the Grumman Tracker only has a 1,300 nautical mile range, which I was really worried about that one actually being a problem. We can also fly faster with this plane, so it's more interesting, I think. The other thing we're doing, kind of hard to tell, the other thing we're doing is we're making use of FS Real Weather Lite. FS Real Weather Lite is a freeware product, and I'll put a link in the description. Where's that? That way. Yeah, I'm not texting like that. I'll put a link in the description to both FS Real Weather Lite and another product, another freeware, well, free-ish-ware. Some of you might remember what the original concept of the products where you can use it, but you get reduced, technically it's freeware. You can use it, but you get reduced usability. It's a product that allows injection. It's basically an injector to inject into Flight Simulator X. Technically, you don't need it for FS Real Weather. Technically, Flight Simulator X has Sim Connect, which does the same thing, allows injection. But there are a few things within the weather inserter that are limited to either Sim Connect or this other product, FS-UIPC, I think. I installed FS-UIPC along with FS Real Weather, and I actually set up FS Real Weather to use either Sim Connect or FS-UIPC, whichever it found to be most effective. So there you go. All right, we're going to take our nice slow taxi through Painfield. Now, we're going to have to make some modifications. Let's just say that. Some modifications to the original Douglas World Cruiser flight path. The first being, planes did not take off from Painfield or Seattle or Whidbey Island. They took off from the Sandpoint Naval Air Station. Sandpoint Naval Air Station no longer exists. In fact, the place that you have to go to, you actually have to land in a grass field and take off from a grass field. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. So we're going to take off from Payne Field. The other thing that we're going to do is obviously some of these airfields that the Douglas World Cruiser landed on were water because Douglas World Cruiser could be configured with floats. Yeah, 14 Tomcat doesn't really like landing on water. So we're going to cheat on those ones and we're going to land on land somewhere. Also, I don't believe all of the airports are actually present in FSX. I don't even think some of these airports are even around anymore. So, in those cases, we will land at the closest airport that we can. We hope. That's the hope anyway. Now, this might seem extremely boring. But I was running out of things to do for Flying Friday. I can only fly through so many buildings or under so many bridges or land on some weird airport in the middle of Tibet so many times before I'm like, okay, what do I do now? And you guys weren't exactly providing me with a whole lot of options. So what we're going to try is to fly parts of this route, or all of this route. I might not fly all of it with you guys. I don't know. I probably will fly it all. I have done something like this before. I'll talk about that when we get in the air here. And what we'll also do is we'll probably combine some things. For instance, in Japan, the Douglas World Cruiser made 6 stops. Stopped 6 times throughout Japan. I think what we can probably do is do stop and go. So we'll literally do touch and goes across these airports and probably string a bunch of them together. I think with a plane like the Tomcat, we'll probably be able to cross Japan in just a few bounces. So that would probably be like 1 episode, maybe 2, depending on the flight path. I also put FS real weather in here because I wanted some real weather. The Jeppesen system was apparently really turned off. It was working up until relatively recently for me, and then it just stopped. I went and checked. Somebody said that the Jeppesen website had shut off service. It's sort of true, but sort of not. Nobody can give a good answer of what's going on.
Tower, Navy, Alpha Delta 160 at runway 1.
FS Real Weather solves the problem for me. So,
Navy, Alpha Delta 160,
alright, clear for takeoff.
Runway 16 right.
Knowledge.
Takeoff, runway 16 right. Navy, Alpha Delta 160.
So what we're going to do is we're not going to run afterburners because there's no reason to. We've got a long runway. Ooh. So I'll just kind of run up the power. There we go. I'll just take off. Oh, never mind. I do have afterburners. Let's get rid of those. There we go. Yeah. All right, baby. In the air with you. All right. There we go. Now you will notice, and it just happened, little screen flashes. Now little screen flashes happen when the FS Real Weather is updating the system. Notice that the weather is moving in here in Seattle, which is awesome.
Alpha Delta 160 is climbing through 2,300 for 8,000. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Okay, give me a turn, please, guy.
Navy Alpha Delta
Thank you.
160.
So I was looking for.
Turn right, heading 300. Proceed on course. Climb and maintain 8,000.
All right.
Turn right heading 300.
Now-
Resume navigation, climb and maintain 8,000.
What was I gonna
Navy
say?
Alpha Delta 160.
Don't remember. Oh yeah, the flashes. The flashes are when FS
Alpha Delta 160.
real weather
1 o'clock, 4 miles at 3,000.
right there.
Beach engineers report them in sight. Beach 48
Nope.
Foxtrot. You are 20 miles north, turn left heading
So FS real weather
2,200 cleared
updates,
approach. Maintain 2,200 until established on
updates the
localizer.
system in a rolling manner.
Power on 118.3. Navy
There we go.
Alpha Delta
It updates in a rolling manner, meaning
turn left
the
heading
the
160,
the meteor
maintain
sites, which are the meteorological
8,000.
sites.
Runway 13 right approach. Maintain
The system
2,200
updates
until established. Tower on 118.
along the flight path
Report 8 Foxtrot.
with a, in my case, 150-mile range plus minus. By default, it says 300. I had to turn it down because Flight Simulator X is a 32-bit system, so even though I have 16 gigs of RAM on my machine, only 4 gigs of paging memory can be allocated to Flight Simulator X. So, when I'm running mods, and I'm doing this, oh, wow, I just like shot through 8,000.
Navy Alpha Delta 160, contact with peak approach on 118.2.
Yeah,
Going
okay.
at 118.2.
Let's get down to 8,000 feet, where we're supposed to be.
Whitby approach. Navy Alpha
There we go.
Delta 160.
Oops.
Descending 9,200. Descending 8,000. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
All right.
Approach.
Um,
Altimeter 3030.
So I turned down the range, basically, so that,
Navy Alpha Delta 160.
now we can go up to 10,000.
Maintain
All right.
10,000. Climb and maintain 10,000.
So I turned down the range of FS Real Weather because then it wouldn't crash my system all the time. But what happens is FS Real Weather does a rolling update, is what I've found. Every 15 minutes it goes through and it reaccesses the meteorological stations, and then starts applying the updates to FSX, which is great. But do I have autopilot on this plane? I don't think I do. Does not appear to be. No. Okay. So, which direction is that? Okay, that is it. All right, come on. Slow it down a little bit. You don't want to burn too much fuel. Bad thing. Come on. Stop climbing. I said stop climbing, plane. It's gonna be a problem. Stop your climbing, silliness. Okay, there. So there we go. Moving along at 300.
Whitby approach. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Very nice.
9,800. Climbing 10,000. Navy Alpha Delta
Yay, there we go.
Whitby approach. Roger. Altimeter 3030.
Okay, we seem to be pretty stable. I'd like to be upish. Nope, we're good. Okay. Ooh, little wind. So we're already going basically 3 times the speed that the World Cruiser would have gone. Approaching 4 times the speed of the World Cruiser. And about 2.5 times the speed of that tracker once I got the tracker all sorted out.
Delta 160. 300 below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 10,000. Altimeter 3030.
Yes,
Climb and
yes.
maintain 10,000.
A little bit of slip while I was turning. I'm sorry. What? Oh, here we go. This part kills me. I get handed back and forth between Seattle Center and Whitby Approach for like ever.
165.1, Navy Alpha Delta 160. Seattle Center,
All right.
Navy Alpha Delta 160.
So the Douglas Road Cruiser, it wasn't just one plane. There was several aircraft.
Roger, altimeter 30.
I believe the first one to go in-op was, I think, the city of Seattle. It went in-op with, I can't remember whether it was a blown piston or prop or something, but it went in-op relatively early. The city of Chicago, I believe, went in-op in Vietnam, Thailand area. Though I think it did end up completing the entire flight. But they made their flight around the world, stopping multiple places. And they used Alaska to get over the Pacific. And they used Greenland and Iceland, I believe, to get over the Atlantic. And I think, based on that, and based on the range of the F-14, that we won't have any problem making this around the world flight. What we won't do is the 42 city tour of the United States that they did when they landed in DC. They landed in DC and then they did a 42 city tour before making it back over to Seattle to complete the round the world trip. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go straight for Seattle. This won't be the most riveting all the time. In fact, probably most of the time it won't be riveting at all. Yes, I know. I'm dealing with it. Shut up. Stupid freaking air traffic control and aircraft without a autopilot and has no concept of level flight. Oops. I took my hand off the stick, by the way. Why am I going up, but my... Oh, good Lord, plane. Hold on, I'm having meteorological problems here. Okay, thank you. I'll go with the approach again. There. Now, go in a kind of a downward... Nope. There. That's down. Okay, down. Down plane. Down plane. It's like a little dog. Down Fido. Alright, so I just have to watch it and just kind of go up and down. Oh, we're going to Vancouver Center apparently. Even though they said Whitby approach, but whatever. Ah, this is nice and quick. Ah, I know what else I was going to show you guys. We're going to go to Victoria Approach. Alright, so here's our flight plan. We're going to the Duncan, Junction, Cassidy, Nanu, QQ, etc. on our flight up to Prince Rupert, which was the first stop of the Douglas World Cruiser. So the first flight was from the Naval Air Station in Seattle to Prince Rupert. From there, we're going to... From there, we go to Juneau. And then Anchorage, I believe. Trickle our way down the Aleutian Peninsula, including Dutch Harbor. And then hop over to the Russian Peninsula, work our way down Japan, down the coast of China and Thailand. And then I can't remember. Pretty sure India's in there. But that's all I remember at that point. I know that on the way back we do go through Greenland. I remember seeing that. We're coming up on the YYJ intersection here relatively quickly, as you would expect on an aircraft going 382 knots.
Alpha Delta 160 with you.
Now, I might be cutting bits and pieces of this out.
160 Vancouver Center.
Just because if I'm just hopping along like I am right now at 383 knots, there's not a lot going on. Not enough for you guys to see. But what I will ask is, if you have a thought about this round the world flight, maybe you'd like me to fly part of it in a prop plane. I'm willing to do that. It's going to be smaller segments if we're doing prop planes, because these, you know, prop planes are pretty slow. Yes, I will. Victoria approach. All right. Yes. Though I need a rhino. I need a rhino to actually do this for me. Yes, Victoria approach. Thank you.
Approach, Navy Alpha Delta 160 with you. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Yep.
Victoria approach. Roger. Altimeter.
A little descend here. Descend a little bit faster, plane. You've crept up too high on me. If you want me to do part of it in a prop plane, if you want me to, I don't know, just give me ideas. If you want me to just not do this round the world flight, certainly you can put that down there as well. In the meantime, we're rocking in our F-14 Tomcat. My concern, of course, is potential for short field landings are pretty limited with this plane. I doubt there's very many. I doubt there's very many airports in this part of the world that have catch lines on them. So I don't think dropping my catch hook will do any good. We could try it, I guess. Another cool thing is this plane is just so much, it's so easy to fly when compared to like when I was doing this with the tracker. Excuse me. I was doing it as a tracker. I had to deal with, you know, the prop settings, the throttle settings, the mixture controls, you know, all these other things. But this plane is just like, it's a jet. It's a jet. Cool. We are 13 nautical miles from the Cassidy intersection. We've already crossed Duncan. Crossed Duncan a while ago. Plane, stop climbing.
Victoria approach, Navy Alpha Delta 160.
You're really going to get on my nerves, plane.
Descending 10,000. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
There, right there. Stay.
Altimeter 3033.
Bad plane. I said stay. Silly airplane. Alright, so we're approaching the Cassidy intersection here. I don't have any scenery packs on this right now. I did consider some, but we're going to be moving relatively quickly, at least when we're using the jet. And the scenery packs that I have been looking at for other things, just like my own personal enjoyment, are very specific, like very country specific. And countries I don't believe we're flying over at all anyway, so it's like, oh well. Well, okay, I have been looking at Alaska, but Alaska might as well be its own country, honestly. Let's just be honest about that. It's bigger than most of the rest of the United States, all lumped together. Their culture is so very different. All right, we've crossed Cassidy. We're heading for Nanu, which I believe would be, is that Nanaimo, maybe? Maybe. 17 nautical miles from the new intersection. Pretty looking aircraft. Where is the fuel level on this plane? Let's see. Why are you climbing, plane? I've told you to stop that silliness. is the fuel on board? Where's my fob? Oh, there's fuel on board right there. Oh, we're looking really good. Okay. We're fine.
Navy Alpha Delta 160. Contact Comex approach on
Comex approach.
123.7.
Okay.
123.7. Alpha Delta 160.
A lot of times when when you play the missions within FSX, and there's several missions that happen out near. Sorry, I can't think while these guys are talking. Out near, well, out in central Washington State, and then you end up in Alaska. And a lot of times, what I do is I fly the Beechcraft Baron from Chelan over to Seattle, then I pick up the Grumman Goose and I fly the Grumman Goose up to Alaska, and then I do the Alaska missions. It's a weird thing I do. Yeah, I know. Feel free to do that if you feel like it. You know, it's okay. I'm willing to let you. You can have that. All right, we are approaching the new 3 nautical miles from the new. And this plane, despite me constantly asking it to go tail down, tail up, keeps trying to climb. That's cool. That's cool. All right, we're crossing the new. We are now 41 nautical miles from QQ. Whatever QQ is. The double Q, man. It sounds like something you'd stamp on a cow, you know, for a ranch. It's a double Q ranch. Questionable query. It's the questionable query ranch. So many buttons. You know what I didn't do? There we go. That'll fix that. Well, if I need to eject, I can eject. Woohoo!
Navy Alpha Delta 160.
What?
Contact Vancouver Center on 125.95.
Okay. 125.95 Navy AD 160. And we're back to Comex approach because FSX is weird.
With you. Navy Alpha Delta 160. Comex approach. Roger. Altimeter 30.
Is that a radar? Is that like... Is that... Oh no, that's that. That's... Yeah, okay, got it. Okay. Four minutes to go 31 nautical miles. Is that our fuel? Forward, aft. Yeah, look at that. We got plenty of fuel up in here. Up in this piece. What's that? We're on a roll, Reggie. Okay. The sky looks ominous. That is one reason why I actually have been wanting to do this for several weeks, at least the first leg of this for several weeks. But I've been putting it off because I've been trying to find the best freeware weather program. Because especially going through the Aleutians, I want that weather. The chances of there being bad weather across Alaska is actually pretty high. So I'm like, well, I kind of want to experience that. So, yeah. The link will be in the description, as I said, to both the FS Real Weather and the other little thing that they say you need, but then they say you don't. So I just went with, hey, it can't hurt to have it, right? Totes. Back to Comex approach. 123.7 Navy Alpha Delta 160. We're back at Vancouver Center. Oh.
Delta 160 with you. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Navy Alpha Delta 160. Didn't I tell you to go to comics? Yeah, but comics told me to come back to you, so the heck do you want me to do?
Comics approach on 123.7.
Okay. I think it's at 10,000 feet is my problem. I think if I cruised at 12, yeah.
Vancouver Center, Navy Alpha Delta 160 with you 10,100. Navy Alpha Delta
Okay.
160.
Don't tell me to go somewhere. I'm going to ask for a higher altitude flight.
033.
To
Vancouver Center, Navy Alpha Delta 160, request 12,000.
yeah, give me 1-2.
Alpha Delta
Thank you.
160, climb and maintain 12,000.
All right, so that should take me. I think it's at 10,000 feet is putting me back and forth. So we'll just make the little climb up to 120, and that should keep me up high enough that I'm not being thrown back and forth by the air traffic control. Oops, 120. Whoa, little punch of wind. I love that sound of the wings sliding back and forth back there. It's awesome. Pretty country up here. Pretty country. FSX does not do it any justice. Yeah. Nice Navy Tomcat rolling over Canadian territory. Just visiting, guys. Just visiting. All right, plane. Let's not play this game. Thank you. All right, we're hitting the QQ intersection in 3 nautical miles, which will go by very quickly. We're right on the edge of wing swing position as well, apparently. Okay, we've hit QQ. We have to turn to Choho. Choho is 21 nautical miles at 284. Because I've been clipping to the west side, I'm going to actually not go to 284 completely. Or I am because I'm a gibbon. Okay. Go. Now, could you imagine doing this for the very first time? If you were flying the Douglas World Cruiser, you'd be going 100 miles an hour, which, you know, that's still pretty good. Your biplane would be open cockpit. Yeah, open cockpit. 100 miles an hour. Up into Alaska. Up into Greenland. You wouldn't have GPS. You wouldn't have VOR. You'd be flying using the same methodology that pilots for Pan Am Airways were originally trained in, which is flying under the same positioning, astrolobes, that they use on ships. You'd be doing it aboard your airplane. You'd be landing at airfields or waterways to refuel, but there's no guarantees. You can't call ahead because that wasn't a thing at the time. I could imagine the long legs. I mean, this is just 500 nautical miles here. But could you imagine the long legs? Especially the long over water legs. How scary that could be. You get off course over the Atlantic or the Pacific and go down and nobody will find you. Nobody knows where you are. Additionally, when you're flying over land, you know, today we're flying, following a low altitude airway. Well, that's why we're flying QQ to Choho. We're flying low altitude airways. These things didn't exist. So you were flying, or now doing Choho to Atuna. You were flying by using a map. You're looking out the window. Your navigator was like, okay, we're flying this way based on the astrolabe. This is my map. I'm going to plot it just like you do on a ship. Well, okay, maybe you don't anymore. Just like I learned how to do aboard a Navy tugboat. You plot it out. You're constantly taking readings, compass, astrolabe, etc. And you're plotting your plan of where you're going. And any error on your part, or the part of your partner, because chances are somebody else is going to take over for you a little bit because you're going to have to, relax a little bit. Any error could mean you don't make it back. And there's no mayday. There's no pan. It's just crash. And you hope that one of the other world cruisers saw you go down and is able to come out, is able to fly on and tell people where you went down. Pretty crazy to think about what these aviators did versus today. I mean, today, flying from Seattle to Anchorage, you step on a jet in Seattle, and several hours later you step off the jet in Anchorage. While they're flying, the pilots have the autopilot turned on. The autopilot is making use of global positioning, VOR, various other methods to maintain the inertial nav systems, etc., to maintain you on the proper routes. But somebody had to make those proper routes. That's actually what Pan Am World Airways did a lot, is make those routes. We are 35 nautical miles away from a tuna. I wonder if you can have a tuna sandwich. So the other time I did a round the world flight, I recreated the flight of a Boeing 314 Clipper from Pan Am World Airways. It left from San Francisco on a flight to Sydney. And on the leg out from Sydney, December 7th happened. Pearl Harbor. Well, the crew flew on the Sydney and then called back to headquarters and were like, okay, what do we do? And headquarters said, keep going west. Circle the globe. Come back to us. Because they didn't want to send them back across the Pacific, because chances are they would be shot down if found. Now, 314 Clipper only lands on water, so they had to be very careful about where they were going. But luckily, a lot of these routes are already scouted by Pan Am. And they flew a route, including stops in Pakistan. They stopped in Sudan. They actually landed on a river. It was Sudan. And then they took on extra fuel for the flight across the Atlantic. Now, I recreated this flight in FSX using a 737-800. Of course, you can't take on extra fuel on a 737-800 in FSX. So what I did instead is I actually stopped at Ascension Island on my flight over the Atlantic, because I could make that flight to Ascension and then from Ascension on. And we might be doing the same thing at various times where we'll make a stop somewhere to refuel the aircraft because, well, we can't exactly, as much as it would make sense, we can't sling extra fuel tanks in the bottom of our F-14.
Navy Alpha Delta 160, Vancouver Center, roger, altimeter 3033.
Woo. Little winds, little winds. Whee. There's actually a setting in the FS Real Weather about wind. I turned it on. It creates layered winds, which apparently is what we're experiencing right now. 380 knots. Ground speed of 429 knots. At 13 nautical miles from Atuna. Which will arrive in about a minute. That looks just wicked, doesn't it? I can't even see it from there. Uh-oh. Stop climbing so much, plane. It's crazy. Okay, so see how the flash and suddenly the weather changed drastically? So that happens at times. And see, now it's changing back. So that's happening because the FS Real Weather is trying to handle the difference between two METR stations. Obviously, we're flying into areas where there's not a lot of meteorological stations. So FS Real Weather has to kind of try to extrapolate the difference. So what we probably just hopped through right there was a point where it was trying to figure out what to do with our weather. Because the weather has returned to what it was. Isn't that nice? It happens. When you consider the age of Flight Simulator X, it's amazing. But the modding community and the well, I won't call it DLC, but the... I don't know what's called that community. The community of people who put out payware. It's amazing what they've done with this product for its age. All right, we've crossed Atuna. We're now on our way to Fennel. It's a whole 11 nautical, well, 10 now nautical miles. We'll blast right past that here in a moment. Okay, I'm getting a wind that must be coming out of the north because I'm getting a updraft. I had this plane pretty well planed down. Ha 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 ha. So that I didn't have to push forward on the stick constantly, and now I'm actually having to put a good bit of forward on the stick to keep the plane around 12,000. Interesting. This plane under full combat performance would only have something like a 350, 400 nautical mile distance. That's why I was being really careful even on takeoff about not running the afterburners. Don't want to do that. I don't want to burn any extra fuel. Coming up on 50% fuel burn already. So we're going to want to be relatively careful with this aircraft, I think. We are now heading, we've crossed Fennel and we are heading to Cormo, which is a whole 12 nautical miles ahead of us. Yeah, let me go get my, oops. Stop the dive. Whoa, updraft. Updraft. Okay. Let's get that down there. All right, so there we are, Fennel. We crossed Fennel, we're heading for Cormo. And after Cormo, we'll have YZT, oops, then YJQ, METEC, PR, and then we'll be in Prince Rupert. Big jump here. The YJQ and the Mitter, those are some long ones, but we got some short stuff. Oops. Gee, I'm so sorry. Okay. How did I suddenly end up so low? Huh. Trying to talk to you guys and fly a plane at the same time, I guess. Go. All right, so we've hit the kicker for Cormo, so we're Not quite overcore mode, but our GPS already updated to YZT, 19 nautical miles up river here. Well, not upriver. That's not a river. That is an ocean. Look at our pretty face in the mirror. Aha. Okay. So 2 minutes and then we'll be at YZT. Oh my gosh, plane. Quit fighting me, plane. Okay. Yeah, I think it's the winds that we're getting. We're getting these winds coming through that are pushing around the plane just a bit. Got plenty of fuel left. We're over halfway there. Come on, plane. Go down some. There we go. Alright, so we're going to be bearing right here. Okay, so we actually have a turn here. Oh, look, the airport down there. Hi, airport! Hey, I know that airport. When I fly the Grumman Goose up here, that's where I stop for fueling. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember that airport. Coolio! Plane, quit dancing. Quit being a dancing aircraft. I wonder if when we turn, if we're going to get a lot of gust off the side. It feels like the sun is setting, but it shouldn't be. I don't know. Okay, let's make our turn. YZT to YJQ. That's 96 nautical miles away, so it's going to take us a whole 13 minutes. It's nice to be clicking along at 433 knots. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing this at 100 knots. Just, ugh. But it would be the thing, like it would have been the adventure of a lifetime. Or a death time, even. A chance to fly around the world, be the first one to do it, see all these places. Yeah, it would have been crazy. Nowadays, we get upset if our planes don't have the proper meal for us in coach or business or whatever. Okay. So we are 87 nautical miles now from YJQ. See. Give a little throttle. I'm going to ask the plane to stop climbing now, plane. Really wants to climb a lot. I don't... There. There. Flying for the mountains. The Cascades north. Snow caps on those mountains. Plane, I can't even leave you for a few moments and you're going to try to climb away. Fuel, 50%, good. Okay, so that gives me pause. Looking at 50% fuel right now. Thereabouts. Presumably, we're going to be dealing with about 50%, well, probably 40-ish% maybe fuel when we land in Prince Rupert. I don't think... Well, probably flying at 385 knots is a bad idea if I'm trying to conserve fuel. Yeah, I kind of question if we can make 1,000 nautical miles in this plane. Well, that's where it goes to you guys. I don't know if I can make 1,000 nautical miles in this plane. I haven't mapped out every one of these, but I'm willing to bet I'm going to need 1,300 nautical miles on some of these segments. So if you have an idea for a plane that I have already covered that I could make last that long, I could probably fly just about anything, depending on the airport I land in, obviously. I like this aircraft because it's fast enough that we can get to our destination. Not so fast that it's like, I don't know. Yeah, the Grumman tracker was burning fuel like a champ, but my gosh, that thing was slow. And it was rattle trappy. It's the best I got. It was a rattle trap. Oh, it's a decent aircraft. It's a decent aircraft. I do like it. It's a lot like this one. It has no autopilot, and it never wants to stay flying straight and level. It always wants to climb or dive. It never wants to behave itself. It's kind of a problem. Kind of an annoyance. I question what Flight Simulator X's wonderful air traffic control is going to do to us when we're approaching Prince Rupert here. $58 nautical miles away. We've got about 8 minutes. Plane is climbing like an idiot again. Go. I did not look at the runway at Prince Rupert. I presume it's paved. It would be an important thing right now. Things I should have considered before getting in a jet. Presume Prince Rupert has a paved runway. I believe it's served by Air Canada. So I presume that they would have a paved runway. Air Canada doesn't strike me as the group to land in unpaved situations. Because I think at one point I actually looked at flying up Prince Rupert. But I might have it confused with another Prince out on the coast of Canada. I wonder what kind of runway Prince Rupert had. I could look it up on the GPS, but... I mean, what's the worst it would be? Like... if it's a 3,000 footer, we're in a lot of trouble. It shouldn't be. I think it would be probably 5,000. I'd hope. I got 6 minutes. Let's try to... Let's see here. No, that's Bella Bella. But if I do that... Crap. I don't know the CYPR. Okay. CYPR. Alright, I'm going to do it on the other screen so I can keep this plane sort of flying straight and level. Crap, I can't do it on the other screen because I got something blind. Okay, there. CYPR is what we want. No, 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 no. C Y P. Go down. I know. Shut up. Sorry. CYP R. No, one more. R. Nope, that's R. There we go. Prince Rupert. Okay. That's what I want. So enter. Yes. Okay, now. No. Enter. Okay, what are you? 6,000. Okay, we got a 6,000 foot. Oh, shut up. Yes, I know. I'm 300 below. I'm busy. I'm looking at this. I have to pull it up by hand. Good lord, dude. Yes. Knowledge. There. Are you happy now? I'm at 12,000. Jeez, man. All right, so we're looking at a 6,000 foot runway. It's terrible. I think I can land this plane in 6,000 or 4, yeah, whatever it just said. 6,000. That's the words I said. Words are overrated. Just cruising along. It just looks like it's just got this relaxed look to it. Kind of like, yep, I'm just totally just cruising, dudes. Just cruising. Yes, I know. I'm above, I'm below, I'm all around. Shut up. Yes, fine. Doesn't matter how much I try to trim the tail, it just does not want to behave itself. Which I presume is because I'm burning fuel. But the fuel is not on the tail, so I don't know what the deal is. There. Stay right there. Don't move. Screw you, plane. Alright. This way some, so we can actually intercept YJQ here. In 20 nautical miles. Stay, plane. Stay. Good plane. Stay like that. No goofing around. Alright, 13 nautical miles till YJQ. Then I believe we have the next would be the mid intersection. And then we'll be into, then we'll be in close enough. Plane, really? Then we'll be in close enough that ATC will probably take over and start vectoring us around for landing. We're going to want to try for a low and slow landing. Because anything else would be probably disastrous in this plane. There's 2 airports down there. There's one there. There's the other one. There's the other one. Look at that, you could like take off, land, take off, land. That's how you can practice your takeoff and landing. Aha. Plane. Seriously. Can't even leave you for a few minutes to go look outside at the pretty scenery and you're gonna fly around like a silly plane. There. Can you stay there? I'm willing to lose some altitude because I have some to lose. Yeah. But we have to turn. Okay. There. Stay perfect, plane. Alright, so this is definitely going to be part cut because, wow. A 15-minute flight for these 111 nautical miles to the MITEC. MITEC? Why did I say Mitter? Oh, because of the Mitter stations. Yes, it's MITEC. That's what we're going for. The weather just changed all of a sudden out of nowhere. Like, literally, it just changed. Okay. Well. That's interesting. Huh. That's, yeah. Okay. I was just cruising along and I was just like, okay, I got the plane trimmed out. We're going to cut this part. I'm going to read some of this newspaper I got in front of me, and all of a sudden it goes boom. I'm like, oh, wow. Probably need to do something about the fact my plane is getting pitched and rolled by the bad weather. Look at it. I'm not touching the stick at all. Yes.
2.4 for Navy, Alpha Delta 160. Vancouver Center, Navy, Alpha Delta 160, with you, 12,000.
Yeah, so Vancouver Center, you mind letting me have a little bit more than 300 plus or minus leeway? It's, the weather is getting worse, and my little plane is getting beaten up a little bit. Appreciate it there, Vancouver Center. All right. Presumably, no more crazy weather will change. Wow, it's crazy. And, yeah, here we go. We'll be back when something else happens.
Navy, Alpha Delta 160, you were 61 miles southeast. Turn right, heading 320, expect vectors ILS. Runway 13, approach.
Well, looks like we got first directions from air traffic control. So it is ILS approach. I'm not even going to bother to try to put up the ILS vectors because, yeah. We're just going to have to try to VFR this one a little bit. So it's flying through this crap. That's exactly what this is. Crap. I was thinking about it, like, could you imagine being the pilot that flies into it for the very first time, big cloud bank, and you're just like, I hope there's no mountains in this. And we are flying over mountains. I mean, it's pretty mountainous over here. There's somewhere down there. Don't know where. So we are, what, 61 miles? Okay. So they put us on this track, which takes us off of our low altitude airways track. Which always annoys me because it just shows that FSX is crazy, but whatever. What ifs, man, what ifs. 161 miles, huh? 13. So what are you doing? You flying me? I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, okay. I think I know what I think I know what it's doing. Yeah, I think so. So we might miss the Mitek intersection. It might be nice enough to jump us up to the next intersection, which would be good. And then we'd have an idea of how far we truly have to go. As it is, it looks like I'm going to be fighting weather all the way in. It's sort of what I wanted. Not really for the first flight, though. Fuel load is not looking good. Look at this. I don't even know where the horizon is. If I didn't have a digital horizon, I'd be in trouble. Well, I'd have that down there, but you know what I mean. Oh, wait, there's land. I see land. Land ho! Where are we at? Okay. Come on, give me the 317. I want 320. That's what he told me to go on to. Now, I haven't never flown in the Prince Rupert. I don't actually know the lay of the land. So it's sort of like being the Douglas World Cruiser. Only they would have had charts, maybe. Maps. I don't have that. Alright, so the PR intersection, which would be the next intersection if we were following the low altitude airways, is 35 miles. 4 minutes up the road here. This is proving to be interesting. Let's say that. I see land again. I see it poking out down there. Jeez. Okay. So 32 miles to PR. 32 nautical miles to PR. By the looks of it, PR was a straight line from Mitek. So that's good, I guess. Alright, so I'll probably hop along here a little bit. We have slowed the aircraft down, because I actually, on my other screen, I'm not even going to try to move it because I'll probably end up causing all kinds of chaos if I do. I can actually see the Prince Rupert Airport in the 10 nautical mile window. So I see where they're vectoring me. And so I've slowed the aircraft down a bit. It does look like it's an overwater approach with a little bit of overland right before landing based on the 10 nautical mile zoom of the GPS. That's actually good news for us. That means that we could get pretty low once we get into the ILS approach vector. We'll just see where they vector us. I think they're going to vector us up north and then have us swing around, which is fine.
Navy Alpha Delta 160, descend and maintain 6,800. Descend and maintain 6,800. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Hopefully there's no tall mountains over here. Well, we're descending right now in a valley, so that's actually going to work. Let's expedite that descent a little bit. Nice thing is, with the military aircraft like this, I can do some expedited maneuvers. So it's 6,800. Here's a mountain. I think there's going to be another one on the other side of us over here. Yeah, okay, so there's the area we're going into. All right, I can deal with this. Now that we're coming out of that deeper cloud bank, it looks like it's not too bad down here. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get underneath it, and that'll be fine. Come on, don't go too low. Thank you. Yeah. This plane kind of bumps around, playing around with its wings. Okay, we should get a left vector here pretty soon. So we're going back over there. This is a perfect out and around for a big commercial aircraft, but we really could be closer, guys. I promise. I promise we could make the turns tighter. Come on, ATC. Come on. Go. All right. Come on, give us our left vector. There we are. We got our wings fully spread out. Just kind of chilling. Just chilling like villains.
Navy Alpha Delta 160, turn right,
I'm
heading
going to turn
350.
right. Oh, I'm going to turn right because you're... Okay, yeah, I got it.
Turn right, heading 350. Navy Alpha Delta 1.
You don't hit the exact points. The game's air traffic control's like, oh, I don't know what you're doing.
Navy Alpha Delta 160,
Yep.
turn left, heading 315. Turn left, heading 315. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Okay, there's 315. Okay. Now, can I turn hard left, please? Superb. No? Ugh. I am thinking that I might ditch IFR navigation in some legs of this, because the game's ATC is just horrid. There's no other word for it. It's just terrible. That's another thing you guys can let me know. Should I ditch the IFR nav with the in-game ATC, which is garbage, or just deal with it and its silliness at times? So you guys can let me know about that. What else? Oh, planes. If I continue.
Navy Alpha Delta 160, turn left, heading 250, descend and maintain 6,000. Turn left, heading 250, descend and
In the meantime, we're going to turn left at 250 and descend to 6,000.
160.
Or lower, because that's just the way we roll. And 250 and a little bit lower. Eh. There we go.
Mooney, Lima Sierra uniform, you were 81 miles east, turn right, heading...
Wow, a Mooney up at 16,000. Wow.
Expect vectors, GPS, runway 13 approach.
Turn right heading 270. Climb and maintain 16,000.
Go.
Expect vectors GPS. Runway 13 approach.
Okay, I see the approach lines now for Prince Rupert.
160, descend and maintain 4,000. Descend and maintain 4,000.
Drop down to 4,000 now that we've cleared the mountains.
Alpha Delta 160, turn left heading 220, turn left heading 220, Navy Alpha Delta 160.
Okay, 220. 4,000 is coming up very quickly for us. There we go. We are. Look at us, just chilling. Just chilling. Like villains. Okay, until we're on final approach, I want to watch my airspeed. 200 seems to be, 215 thereabouts. That seems to be okay.
Navy Alpha Delta 160, you are 21 miles north, turn left heading 160, descend and maintain 2,500. Cleared ILS. Runway 13 approach, maintain 2,500 until established on the localizer. Switch to advisory on 122.5.
Okay.
Turn left heading 160.
160.
2,500.
2,500.
Runway 13 approach, maintain 2,500 until established. Advisory on 122.5. Navy Alpha Delta 160.
There we go. Okay, turning to traffic.
Charlie Yankee Papa Romeo.
All right, now we are on our own. We no longer truly have
miles north inbound ILS runway 13.
GPS. Oops, we are well below 2,500.
Charlie Yankee Papa Romeo traffic.
All right, we're gonna give them notice we're coming in for landing.
On final runway 13 to land.
Go ahead and drop some flappage. Get ourselves in config. Even though we're a ways away, I want to go ahead and config the aircraft because I'd rather, there we go. I'd rather have the aircraft in config and not have to think about that. Versus not being config and then have to figure it out later. Okay, we are less than 10 nautical miles from the ILS glide slope. Coming up on 10 nautical miles to the runway. The reconfiguration of my HUD has confused the crap out of me, so I don't even know what's going on up there anymore. Okay. Looks like we're down below the worst of the weather. I think I see the runway up there. Yeah, that's our runway. Okay. Now we're going in for landing. This will be good or bad. I'm not sure which. Let her start to descend. $150, that sounds like a good speed to me. I'm gonna try to play around 150, I think. And I always have air brakes, so I'm suddenly not sure that's the runway that I saw. I'm wondering if the runway isn't hiding behind one of my panels here. I'm not actually in the ILS glide slope yet. It can't be the runway. Is that the runway up there? Oh yeah, I was looking at the completely wrong island. Whoa boy. Okay, let's get to the right island. That's our fuel. Ooh, 25% on our fuel load. Yeah, we have to have a different aircraft for longer flights. This is 500 nautical miles. I burned up most of the fuel. Okay. All right, now I know that's the runway. So we're fully on visual. I know they want ILS approach, but pff, we got visuals. Okay. This will be an interesting plane to visit Prince Rupert, don't you think? Hi, an F-14 Tomcat just landed on your airport. Enjoy! Alright. So 150 is what I'm aiming for. 149 is pretty darn close. This was about this is faster than the Douglas World Cruiser for its top speeds. And we're on landing at 150. It's also about 25 miles an hour slower than what I was getting out of the tracker. To give you an idea of the speed of that thing. Okay. Let's go for a nice, gentle touchdown here, I hope. Gonna slide across the trees and set our beautiful plane down. Okay, I think I can get the plane even slower, but I think we'll stick with 150. No, we're gonna go slower. Ooh, baby. Come on. Gotta cross the tree line. Okay. Here we go. Brakes out. Brakes. Yeah. Look at that. Perch. Look at that. Made a beautiful landing, and we even landed in time that I should be able to make this turn. Yeah, whatevs. Yeah. That one is one of those, whatever type incidents.
Charlie, Yankee, Papa, Romeo, traffic, Navy.
All right, we made our landing.
60 is clear of the runway.
So we'll taxi our way around here and park up. So there we go. We did our first leg of the Douglas World Cruiser around the world flight. You guys are going to let me know what you think. What kind of aircraft I should continue to use. If I should continue this around the world flight. And something else I can't remember. Oh, if I'm going to continue using air traffic control, or whether I'm going to start just flying it. and air traffic control can just bugger off. There we go. We made it. Woohoo! First leg done. Yay! All right. Until next time, been DerTebbers, been Flying Friday. Until next Flying Friday. Happy flying, everybody.